Joining us today, Shishir Joshipura, MD and CEO at Praj Industries. He joins us in the show right now. Shishir, pleasure having you on the show today. And, like my colleague was highlighting, the sugar bailout package plus the hike in ethanol prices, I'm guessing it's good times for you.
Yes, I must stay modest and still agree to what you're saying, that the policy environment has become really favorable, and that is obviously expected to drive future growth with our customers as well as our industry, and that augurs well for the company.
So help us understand better. What is it that we're looking at, considering you've got a 70% market share, as we understand? In terms of numbers, what is it that we are talking about?
So I think if you look at it, let's look at the whole policy of what it is actually doing. So a large segment of our customers, especially in India, is our customer base with sugar mills and associated distilleries that all these sugar mills have got. Now, so far, till the policy was announced, the mills were restricted to produce entire ethanol out of molasses C. Now the policy says, well, you're free to go from molasses B or even juice, which means that it frees up a decision-making process for the sugar mills to see if they want to produce ethanol or they want to produce a blend of sugar and ethanol, or they want to, in what ratio they want to do it, depending on the economics of their business. And I think that freedom allows them to make choices, and when they make those choices, obviously they need distillation capacity aligned to those choices. That's one big change that has happened. The second is within the policy framework, there is also a layout for the second generation ethanol that we mentioned earlier in the program. This also allows us to create a very sustainable ecosystem which takes from the farm a waste and converts it into a gainful energy for the country, and make sure that all the revenues that get associated with this cycle stay inside our economy and they don't flow out, unlike in case of oil imports or a CNG import that we have to do. So these are the two big factors, I believe, that will create demand for additional capacity for distillation, and that is what will drive our company forward.
Okay. Good morning and thank you so much for joining in. Now, let's talk a little bit about the financials as well. In FY18, no doubt, was challenging for the company. We saw the dip in the ethanol revenues and that seemed to have dented your profitability. With this price hike coming in, do you think that we could see a potential recovery in the second half?
So the price hike is for our customers, right? Price hike is for ethanol to be produced by our customers, and very clearly, if they get a remunerative price, we will clearly see a large market opening up, and that should allow us to, and given our very, very strong market share position, I'm very sure that we will be able to leverage this opportunity and continue to build on our share.
And given the fact that over the years the company has diversified the revenue base, with the core business contribution moving from 100% to 72% currently, do other emerging businesses provide good growth opportunities?
Yes, that's a great question. I think we are looking at a strategy of ensuring that all our business units do well, whether it is breweries, if it is zero liquid discharge systems, whether it is complex chemical equipments, and we are making sure that we are building all our blocks step by step to ensure that each of our business units stay profitable and grow in a sustainable fashion. Towards this, I think there have been other changes on the opposite side as well as inside. We are seeing a big traction coming for zero liquid discharge system. We have improved our processes and our engineering capabilities to address these emerging opportunities. We are looking at addressing opportunities on the customer's revenue budget side by offering a whole host of services beyond the project completion. So there are several steps. Internationalization is another big lever that we are trying to put in place. Now we already have a very, very significant international presence, and we are working on a plan to further strengthen our presence in some of the markets where we are not represented. All these steps put together will definitely make sure that we are able to grow from here onwards in a very, very sustainable fashion.
What is your experience of the lag in the lead effect? When I say lag in the lead effect, ethanol prices have gone higher. Your customers may like to invest more in ethanol machinery. So historically, every time an ethanol demand has gone higher, how soon it translates into a business opportunity for you?
I think we're still looking at something like a 6 to 18 month kind of a period, for the simple fact that while the prices is one very clearly big lever for our customers to put up the capacities, there are still processes to be followed in terms of arranging funding, arranging environmental clearances, defining a project. And I think those steps will still take their own time. And that is a step that all companies will have to go through. There may be a minor demand uh, spike for the time being in terms of some of the customers who already have some of these things lined up, and then they can very quickly go and add some capacities. But for greenfield projects, we're still looking at a time frame between 6 to 18 months.
Whom would you say is your nearest competitor, and what kind of market share currently your competitor is also enjoying?
So as was mentioned earlier, Praj in domestic market enjoys nearly 70% market share for our business line. And that means that for the rest 30%, there are 4 or 5 other companies that are vying. So there is no one significant competition, but there are 4 or 5 companies that vie in the other space.
And who are your large buyers? I'm asking you very basic questions because one, we would understand it would be oil marketing companies, sugar companies. Apart from that, are there new, fresh investments which is coming from new age entrepreneurs which do not have a presence in ethanol, but they want to invest in them now?
As you rightly said, one of our big segment is sugar companies, which who have a very natural, shall I say, affinity to put up an alcohol plant, given the fact that they are source of molasses for. There is also grain-based distilleries that come up, which are more or less independent. Having said that, in our other businesses as well, we are seeing that we are able to serve a very large segment of customers, from textiles to steel to food and beverages. Across the segment, we are also able to serve oil and gas for our chemical process equipment system. We serve pharma through our subsidiary Praj High Purity System for high purity water systems. So in that sense, it does cut across a fairly large swath of industrial segment. For the ethanol business, it's majority sugar. For the 2G, oil marketing companies, no question. And some grain-based distilleries, but normally grain-based would be for potable alcohol consumption, so that growth rates are through different drivers.
So Shishir, just give me some color on what we are likely to see from you when it comes to Q2 and Q3 performance, because if I just go by what the first quarter delivery was like, it was impressive nonetheless. And now with this big booster coming in, your EBITDA margins at 5.5%, sales at 191 crore rupees. Are we talking about 2 times the doubling of revenues as well as EBITDA, or do you think it could be a little more nominal? Because like you said, the big orders would take about 12 to 18 months to come in.
I think what we have to see is there is no, in our kind of business, as I was mentioning, 6 to 18 months is the timeline that one would expect for these effects to start rolling in. So second quarter is very much here. So to expect that those results will start showing up in second quarter results is probably a little far-fetched. But overall, we see very positive growth for our sector. Our position is extremely strong, and we have no reason to believe that we are ready to give that up. We are going to build on that further, so we can only look for happier days ahead.
Well, on the point we were talking about with respect to new order intake, we are likely to see a significant leg up, you're saying, in FY 19-20?
Yes, we should see if this does work out in terms of the policy rolled out that has happened now and the response from the market. As I had mentioned earlier as well, we are already seeing an improved inflow of inquiries.
Great speaking with you, and I'm sure we're going to chat again when you start or rather begin to see those chunky orders coming in the next 6 to 18 months. Good speaking with you. And what